What's up, YouTube? Suit coming at you with another episode of Material Lords Weekly, and we here have a belted leather today that I will be interviewing and asking some questions for you viewers at home. So let's jump right into this thing. You tend to say fuck a lot.
I do. I think it's just my bread and butter, really.
It's kind of like your go-to, right?
I mean, fuck, like, what do you want me to say?
That's fair. You also seem to wear sunglasses a lot. Does that have anything to do with the leather, or is that just a personal preference?
Actually, it's a little bit of both. When I was growing up, before the leather really came into play, I always liked wearing sunglasses. Even in cloudy weather, I squint a lot. I have very sensitive eyes, so there's that. But it really pairs well with the leather. It's an intimidation factor for my opponents, and it's a really good experience to have both of them on the same side.
That does seem like quite an advantage to you. I also did happen to notice you have another distinct advantage over the other Material Lords. At least that's what it kind of seems. You are the fattest Material Lord. Am I correct in saying this?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely outweigh both of them, possibly both of them put together.
What does it feel like to have that kind of prestige of such a valuable asset?
Honestly, it's pretty good. People look up to me not only because of my stature, but because of my title. And even though it might be sometimes hard to find just normal clothes to wear every day, it's quite good just to have the imposing physique of being a much larger person.
And I just want to see if you agree with me on this, that doing things for the skinnies is kind of like the low ball version of that, right?
Oh yeah, if you claim to do things for the skinnies, it's like you're bragging about being an underachiever. It's like when you go to high school and there's those guys that are like, I got a C- because I barely tried. Well, you're bragging about being just average, just an underachiever. If you're going to brag about something, brag about being great. And that's what I do every day.
Can't really disagree with that. So there's been a lot of talk between the Material Lords and through other people about the fight that we had for a little while there. I think one thing that hasn't really been spoken about, though, was the fact that you were on timeout for quite a while. How long were you on timeout for?
It was about 2.5, 3 weeks, actually.
That is a long time. How did you cope with that trauma?
There was a fridge right there.
I can't even argue. You know what? And that kind of brings me to the point. What are your feelings on Dad? Because he seems to have a lot of authority between the Material Lords. Is he really like the overpowering dad of the Material Lords?
Dad's the character that kind of reins us all in. As loose of a player as Denim can be, Dad really has an authority over him, authority over all of us, really. And even though I'm usually the one of the three of us that tries to keep us all in check, Dad's the one that if all of us are really far gone, he's the one that puts us into place. If you saw our Night Before Christmas movie, you saw that I think that was one of the first appearances of Dad, and he just commands authority. And I think what we have to realize when we talk about Dad is that he is like the pinnacle of respect for our group, and he does his job very well.
I can't even disagree. Praise be unto Dad. I just have one more question with you, but I'm kind of hoping we can really delve into this topic. So, you and one of the other Material Lords tend to do this thing called daft hunting, and I just wanted to ask, how did that actually come about, really?
Oh, this is actually a really, really interesting topic. So there's this thing that we like to do. We just like to go on drives a lot. We'll mellow out, we'll talk, we'll chill. Excuse me. And what we'll tend to do is we'll start to drive, and what we like to do is we like to find the creepiest roads we can, and we always do these drives at night, because if you're doing it during the day, you can see everything, and there's really nothing. But actually, this particular drive did happen to take place during the day the first time we did it. And what happened was we were driving along this road that was fairly straight, and what happened was we ended up coming up on this corner, or the sign rather, that spoke of a very sharp turn up ahead, and it was kind of a gradual right turn, but nothing too fancy. And of course we were going 70 or 80 down this road. What we didn't expect was a set of train tracks that kind of broke us out of our stupor there. Immediately after, there was an almost immediate just 90-degree right turn that we took in a 1500 Dodge Ram. It was extra large tires. These things were big. We took that going 80. The zone, I think, was like a 50 to begin with, and we went almost completely 90-degree right turn, going way too fast for what we were supposed to be, and we almost died. After that, there was a figure we saw in the trees. We called that the Spirit of the Daft because of how that corner snuck up on us, and of course we can't forget about Daft Eddies either. This was actually the first occurrence. What happened with Daft Eddies is when we went to look for food one day, this is going back to the whole fat thing, we went to look for food this one time, and when we Googled how many Fast Eddies there were, it told us in town that there were 3. Well, we know for a fact there's 2. We've been to them many times. So we wanted to search for this third one. While searching for it, it turned out that it was just nothing. There was not a Daft Eddies in sight, or a Fast Eddies in sight, so that's actually how it became Daft Eddies. So those are our 2 most famous tales of daft hunting. I definitely hope to get to more in the future, but that's what we have so far.
I think that's a pretty apt description of the daft hunting universe that we've seemed to create for ourselves. And I think that about does it with for us, YouTube. So thank you for your time, and this has been Material Lords Weekly.